We love an ethical dilemma, like on our first story today where OP feeds another person's child meat. Did I forget to mention that that child is also vegan? Yeah. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for it. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for giving my daughter's vegan friend meaty meals during sleepovers? So my daughter and her friend, Em, are both 12 years old and like to have sleepovers every now and then. Em's family maintains a strict vegan diet where she isn't even allowed to drink milk. Her parents are nice people, although a bit on the neurotic side. Em is a bright young girl, and she's a good friend to my daughter, but I noticed how much smaller and paler she is compared to my daughter. I think it's likely tied to her family's diet. So whenever she's over, I always make a big meaty meal for them. Last weekend, I made some cheeseburgers and steak for them on the grill with a big glass of milk. Em absolutely loves it and always politely asks for more, which I happily provide. For snacks, I give them some of my venison jerky. For breakfast, I typically make a big plate of scrambled eggs and bacon, again with a big glass of milk. Despite her size, Em always wolfs down whatever I make, and I have to say, every time she leaves, it looks like she has a healthy glow to her. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I think Em is a bit malnourished. Nothing against vegans or anything. She knows she'll get in trouble if she tells her folks. I think she fibs a bit to her parents about what she eats. Am I the asshole for letting my daughter's vegan friend eat meat? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. It's an ethical dilemma. Do I feed what I think is a malnourished girl against her family's wishes, or do I abide by what they say and contribute to a stunted child's growth? Now in the comments, you're the asshole. Quote, I think Em is a bit malnourished, is where I deemed you the asshole. You are absolutely judging her family and her family's diet, and you are doing this out of some misguided form of activism. You think you're the hero here, saving her from some injustice. It'd be one thing if you were maybe just trying to make the kid happy one time and keeping a little secret, but you are doing this to make a statement. You are actively and defiantly disrespecting her parents. And not just that, no adult should be asking a kid to keep a secret from their parents. That is a very slippery slope and extremely inappropriate. You're the asshole. You say, quote, whenever she is over, I always make a big meaty meal for them. So you're going out of your way to make something you know that Em's parents wouldn't let her have, based on she looks smaller and paler than your daughter. Stop substituting your judgments about how this kid is raised for her parents. She is not your kid. I know that I looked thin and pale at 12. I was mid-growth spurt and had indoor hobbies. It doesn't mean malnourishment, especially when your body is changing so much at that age. God, my kid is 12 and thin and pale. Should I be expecting some nosy neighbor to be calling CPS on me? I always say he's a little peanut, but he's growing on his curve, so there's not much else to do but hope that he kind of bulks up a bit as he gets older. He has the exact same body type as his dad had at that age. You're the asshole. You are not her doctor. This isn't your choice to make. Undermining her parents' dietary choices is going to do more harm than good for her. To jump from a strict plant-based diet to one heavy with dairy and meat, and then to go right back to strict plant-based, that shocks the body, so to speak. If you are concerned about her health, talk to her parents. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for throwing out jelly that my wife intentionally contaminated with peanut butter? Tonight, my wife, 31 female, and I, 32 male, were making ourselves sandwiches for a late dinner. I decided to make turkey, and she decided to make peanut butter and jelly. I watched her stick a knife into the peanut butter, spread it on the bread, and then stick the same knife into the jar of strawberry jelly without cleaning it off or using a different knife. I asked her if she was serious right now, and if she could please not contaminate food intentionally. She responded saying this was jelly specifically for peanut butter and jelly, so it was fine. I said I sometimes eat jelly without peanut butter, and either way, it was disgusting. She said fine, and went over to the sink and rinsed off the knife, but only partially. She came back over to the table and stuck the same knife, still with some peanut butter on it, into the jar again and finished making her sandwich. After she was done, I took the jar out of the fridge and threw it in the trash. She took it out of the trash, put it back in the fridge, and now she's not talking to me. Am I the asshole? Edit: no, I'm not allergic to peanuts. Edit 2, my wife asked me to add that she's pregnant, and peanut butter and jelly is pretty much the only sandwich she can have. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole for throwing out the jelly in front of my wife after she told me getting peanut butter in it wasn't an issue. Now in the comments, you're the asshole. Contaminated? Really? Unless you are allergic to peanuts, this is the most childish hill to die on I've ever heard. You're the asshole. What a huge overreaction. Are you sure you're not 5 years old? If it was that big of a deal, you could just scoop out the bit that was contaminated. Or just open his own jar to use separately, especially since she's pregnant and really likes her PB&Js. Right? A fully grown adult can't buy his own jar of jelly and say, "This one is mine, please don't put peanut butter in it." What a dumb thing to waste time arguing over. And what a waste of food. To throw out perfectly good jelly in some sort of douchey power play when it's the only thing his pregnant wife can stomach. I don't want to eat this since my wife, who eats it every day, ruined it. Guess I'll throw it away since I'm mad that I can't eat it, even though I already wasn't eating it. Not to mention, the jelly is still perfectly fine since no one in the house is allergic, so cross-contamination isn't a big deal. You're the asshole. I have second-hand embarrassment from how childish this is. She refused to label the jelly, so instead of doing it yourself, you had yourself a tantrum and threw it away. I wouldn't even expect this behavior from a small child. Our post is titled, "Am I the asshole for not letting my husband go on a postponed bachelor trip?" One of my husband's closest friends got married in a courthouse ceremony last year. They debated postponing their ceremony, but decided to just do a courthouse wedding to save money. They threw a smallish reception, like a party in their backyard, to celebrate with friends and family instead. Since they also both had to cancel their bachelor and bachelorette parties, they decided to use some of the money saved from the wedding to go on trips with their friends. My husband's friend decided he wanted to go to Vegas. He sent out an email to everyone invited, detailing the trip. His friend would book and pay for the entire villa suite, so the only thing the attendees would have to pay for would be airfare and spending cash. When my husband told me about it, he was so excited, as he's never been to Vegas, and this seemed like the perfect trip to him since his friend was covering a huge expense. However, we have 2 young kids at home, a 3-year-old and a 6-week newborn. The trip is in 6 weeks, and my husband's friends want for sure answers on who is going by the end of the week so he can finalize reservations. I told my husband I don't want him to go because I need his help at home. He pretty much begged me, but I did not give in. I do not think I can handle the needs of both kids by myself, neither of us have any family nearby, and I'm pretty much estranged from all of my family anyway. The only real option we have for help is his mum, and she lives 3,000 miles away. He offered to pay for her to come stay to help, but I told him that we can't afford it, which he should know. I'm also upset that he thought that we had the money to pay for this at all. We have 2 kids. We shouldn't be spending our money on gambling party trips. I pretty much put my foot down and told my husband that he can't go and that there is nothing he can do to convince me that he should or that it's even an idea worth entertaining. He has still been trying to convince me and come up with the ideas that he thinks will make it work, no matter how many times I tell him to stop. I finally snapped at him and told him to drop it because he's not going, and there's nothing he can do to convince me otherwise. I told him his priority needs to be his family right now, not going off with friends to blow money on drinks and gambling. He called me a controlling jerk, and that I'm depriving him of a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I told him if he went, he would be missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime moments with his kids, and that's what he needs to focus on. I told him he just needs to drop it and tell his friends that he can't go and be done with it. He told me that he hopes I remember this when there's something that I really want to do, because he would never deprive me of an experience like this. He did finally tell his friend he can't go, but now he is barely talking to me, and pretty much only about other things relating to the kids. I can't even understand why he thought going would be a good idea. But am I the asshole here? Now in the comments, info. How long would he be gone for? And OP replies, 3 nights. They would fly out on Thursday and come back on Sunday. I don't know, I feel like that isn't terribly long. I agree. Plus OP's husband seemed to go out of his way to try and find solutions, each of which OP shut down without even a discussion. I'm not sure. It depends on how easy and difficult OP's baby is in 6 more weeks. Babies grow really fast at that age. I have a 3-month-old right now, and things can change from easygoing to overwhelming in a day or 2. In an ideal world, no solo trips for parents until the baby lets the parents get at least 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep in the night. At least that's the rule in my household. It sucks that the dream Vegas trip falls in a timeline that does not work for your family, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I hope you guys can have a conversation about it. Well, that's the problem. OP has refused any conversations that don't fall in line with, I won't go. You need couples counseling, not Reddit's approval. Seriously, big stuff here. This is bigger than a trip. Having people tell you you're not the asshole isn't going to help solve the issue. You're the asshole. Sounds like you're dictating terms, not discussing them. No wonder he's barely speaking to you. What's the point of dialoguing with someone whose mind is already made up about everything? As someone who single-parented kids born 17 months apart, even when they were infants, with 0 family support, I feel you. But if it's not too late, I gently urge you to reconsider for the sake of your marriage. You'll make it through 3 nights, even if it'll be damn hard, and he'll take over when he gets back, eternally grateful to you. No, it isn't fair that he gets a break while you do double the work and lose twice the sleep. But showing him you can do it and will go through it for him will strengthen your marriage at a time that sounds like you guys are disconnected. It doesn't really sound like it's about the money, unless he has a history of irresponsible solo spending. Let him go and expect to be the goddess thereafter. Not the asshole. I see why he wants to go, but newborns are hard. Both parents, not just the mother, should fully be expected to sacrifice all of their social events temporarily after having a baby. It's what you sign up for when you choose to impregnate someone. Your life is no longer your own. Your kids' needs come first, and it sounds like the kids' needs can't be met at this stage just by one parent. Both toddlers and newborns are hard work, and sleep is in short supply. The needs of your family, of your children to be cared for, and of your wife to get sleep and be healthy mentally are first over friends. Newborns have high needs around the clock. Leaving them is unrealistic at this age. You can't just dump off your newborn on the other parent for days because of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to party. When you're a parent, you pass those opportunities up because you made that choice when you made a kid. You will be sleep deprived, alone, with no breaks for 3 days. 12 weeks is way too little to be left for days at a time. If this trip was planned at any other time than a few weeks after childbirth, I'd vote different. But dumping all the baby care on your partner to F off and party 12 weeks postpartum in the most difficult months of a parent's life is very selfish and inconsiderate. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for getting angry at my parents after they refuse to look after my children? I, 25 female, have 2 children, my son 4 and my daughter 2. Raising 2 children at a young age has been really difficult. However, I was able to graduate from college with a good degree and start a career that I am happy with. Despite this, the struggle of trying to juggle the responsibility of looking after my kids and focusing on my career is stressful to say the least. My fiancé, 26, also works full-time, which only compounds the issue. Up until now, My parents have been watching my children on Saturday nights, so me and my fiancé can have time to ourselves. My parents are retired. I was recently offered a promotion at work. While I enjoy my new position, it involves me working more hours, which only makes my home life more difficult. I told my parents that I'd really appreciate it if they could watch my kids on Tuesday and Thursday nights as well, so as to alleviate my stress levels. However, they refused, saying that they are doing more than enough by looking after my kids on a Saturday night. We had an argument after this, when my parents threatened to stop watching my kids on Saturday night. This annoyed me, and I responded by saying that if they're going to put me in a compromising position, then they are not going to come to my wedding. We haven't spoken since, and I've had to look after my kids on Saturday night, which has been stressful for both me and my fiancé. I feel as though that since they are retired, there's nothing wrong with asking them to pull their weight more and help me out with my kids. Am I missing something? Am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I may have been the asshole in this case, since I threatened to not invite my parents to my wedding. Now in the comments, is this a joke? You're the asshole without a doubt. These are your kids, not your parents's. They are doing you one hell of a favor by watching them every Saturday night just so you can have some time off. You are unbelievably ungrateful. I sincerely hope this is a troll. 100% this. OP is entitled and ungrateful. OP's parents did their job by raising OP. They were being very kind by offering OP a night off every single week. And then trying to blackmail the parents with a wedding invite. Sad. Family members are not on-demand free babysitters. No one has an obligation to raise your children for you. Quote, there's nothing wrong with asking them to pull their weight more. They are not the parents of your children. You need to start pulling your weight as a daughter and stop exploiting your parents' generosity. Your entitlement is appalling, OP. Grandparents are not on-demand babysitters. Do what the rest of the world does and get appropriate childcare. If the new job is so great, that shouldn't be a problem unless you are cheapskates. Let your parents enjoy their retirement and stop forcing your responsibilities onto them because you feel entitled. And our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for doing a welfare check on my girl who is living in a dangerous environment? So my girl, 28 female, and I, 32 male, have been together for 8 months. She lives with her friend Jared, 27 male, who owns the home. Jared seemed like a great guy, very friendly, down to earth, and weeks from becoming a physiatrist. Medical studies were demanding of him, but we all got along well whenever I was over. I'm a cop. Where we live, marijuana is common but still illegal. As a law enforcer, I honor the law but am also anti-drugs for personal reasons. It's not harmless. My peers who smoked marijuana in school are now deadbeats, and my best mate got rejected from the army because he'd used marijuana before and now drives trucks. I've not discussed this view with my girl, but I think being a law enforcer implies my stance, plus nothing about her life gives me reason to suspect she thinks drug use is okay. Sometimes when Jared hung with us, I suspected he had used marijuana. I'm trained to suspect it, but Jared's profile didn't fit an addict, nor would my girl accept living with one. Likely my judgment was wrong, and he was tired from studies. Unfortunately, my instincts were correct. A few weeks ago, I arrived at my girlfriend's house before she had. I let myself in and went to the balcony, and Jared was there. We were casually chatting when he just puffs on a joint, and then even offers me a puff. I'm fuming. This guy literally offered a cop drugs, so clearly he's offered my girl drugs. I'm terrified for her safety in this environment. Really, as a law enforcer, it is my civic duty to enforce the law, but my judgment was that Jared could be reasoned with. I made him aware of my obligation, and that his drug use also hurts society, and others around him as well as himself. As a cop, and because he lives with my girl, I'll charge him if my girl is put in danger again. He denied the severity of his use, said he will stop around me, but he doesn't respect my attitude or behavior in his house. Mildly insulting response after letting him off, but understandable it wasn't taken well. He's an addict and I've made use harder for him in his own home. My girl comes home, we both explain what's unfolded. My girl says it's a lot and I should go home for the night. The next day, the city is in lockdown. I'm not able to address with Jared nor my girl what happened. The last few weeks, she is talking to me less and less. My anxiety knowing my girl is locked down in such a toxic situation is overwhelming. Last week, I decided to do a welfare check, but send my partner in. He did it, but afterwards said that was effed up of me. Later that night, my girl cut it entirely and filed a complaint against me. I truly didn't believe I did anything wrong and was just trying to protect my girl, but I've lost my girl and my career is in trouble. But both my girl and my partner think I'm screwed, so maybe I am. Am I the asshole? Now in the comments, you're the asshole. The phrase my girl is coming across as very creepy. Looks like karma really is what they say. Came to the comments literally to say that he would be the asshole for purely, repeatedly calling his adult ex-partner my girl. So much that it made me throw up a little bit in my mouth. OP, you're the asshole. This is obsessive, controlling behavior, masquerading as being protective, and an extraordinary abuse of power. Very justified to now be in trouble at work and single. And the fact that he still says they've been together 8 months when she's clearly already broken up with him is also concerning. You're the asshole. Please take a different career path. This time's a million. Smoking one joint isn't an addiction. She is not in harm's way because pot was in the house. Likely she knew. She just figured you weren't this type of cop. I really hope you leave her alone, but I'm so scared for her. You're the asshole. Right? I'm more scared of what OP will do next than Jared with his joint. I love how even his cop buddy was like, dude, what the hell? This isn't how you treat people. You're the asshole. When they say bad cops, they mean you. You think your job gives you moral authority. You think you are allowed to just let yourself into someone else's house that you don't live with? Seriously, just stop. Your girl probably smokes too, and it doesn't make anyone a bad person. She's waiting to break up with you because she's afraid of bad cops, by the way. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.